So welcome to part 2, y'all, making disciples. Of all the things of the New Testament that we should really be concerned with and be focused upon, I would say this is probably it. Being a disciple of Jesus Christ and then making disciples of Jesus Christ. And I got my Nestle Allen, about to do some work real quick. So Matthew 28 here, verse 19, picking up here, Jesus says, Mathetusate Pantata ethne, which is y'all, the second person plural, you all. Y'all make learners, okay? Make learners, make disciples of all the nations. Continuing on, he says, Baptisontes autus is tu anuma tu patros kai tu huiu kai tu agiu numatos, which is baptizing them or submerging them into the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Clearly Trinitarian language here. There's no need to defend, you feel me, something that was already clearly understood, even without the word Trinity here. It's just not necessary. Anyway, Jesus continues on saying, didaskontes autus, which is teaching them, terin panta osa, to keep or to observe all that inetelame humin, which is I have commanded you. Jesus talking to the disciples. So he tells them to teach the nations to observe all that I have commanded you. Now watch this. The disciples at this time are officially being sent out at these words. This is Jesus' ascension into heaven, and he is officially sending them out. Guess what that makes them now? Apostolos. That's what that word means. Sent ones. So now they are the apostles. Now these apostles and the eyewitnesses, they gave us the words of Jesus in the gospel. None of these pseudo-named gospels, the Gospel of Thomas, the Gospel of Peter, Gospel of Mary Magdalene, none of these gospels, these pseudo-named gospels, were ever accepted by the apostles or anyone that knew the apostles. Matter of fact, most of those pseudo-named gospels appeared way after the time of the apostles. Remember, each and every one of them died in the first century. None of them lived beyond the first century. And all those gospels, those fake phony gospels, appear after the first century, which means they're not credible and they have never been credible. So it's completely dumb whenever I see these books being brought up on TikTok and people asking, they're really bothering to ask, why is this not in the Bible? It never was in the Bible. They were never accepted by anyone. And watch this. At this time in history, there was no dispute. No one disputed over the authorship of the Gospels because everyone knew who wrote the Gospels. Anyways, the authentic writings of the apostles and the eyewitnesses have been handed down ever since they had been written by them. We have the writings of the apostle Paul, John, Peter, and Matthew. And then the eyewitnesses. We have Luke, we have John Mark, we have Jude, and we have James. Both Jude and James being the brothers of Jesus. These writings from these authors, what we call our New Testament today, these writings is what God has used and preserved to teach the nations throughout all these years. God has used them to, or I should say the Holy Spirit has used them to fulfill his great commission, that the disciples would disciple the nations, teaching them to observe all that Jesus commanded them to. How do we know what Jesus commanded them? We know them with the scriptures, by the gospels. All right, y'all, so to sum it up like this, what it means to be a disciple of Jesus is to deny oneself, to take up your cross and to follow him. This includes learning from him, and we learn from him through the writings of the apostles and the eyewitnesses. They give us the teachings of Jesus. And we apply these teachings to our everyday lives, and we observe them. You know what I'm saying? And in the proper time, we are then able to make disciples. You know what I'm saying? Starting with our friends, and then starting with our families, then our friends, and then our enemies. This is true evangelism. So stop looking for a supernatural experience and open up that book and start reading it.